Transition Radio TV brought to you by thebreastformstore.com. They have everything you could possibly need for your transgender or cross-dressing needs. Visit their website at www.breastformstore.com and tell them Transition Radio sent you.
The following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think he may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, hello and welcome to another edition of Transition Radio TV. We're so glad you're able to join us yet again on a Sunday. Today we have a very special guest, Isis King.
Yes, we do.
Isis King and I met back around 3 years ago on Bellamata, which was an all-trans movie, so we're very excited to have her on our show.
Absolutely.
It's a little chilly, and I'm sure we shouldn't complain because all those other places...
Especially by what we're wearing. But luckily we're inside,
we've got the heater
and not
inside.
outside.
Yes, outside it's kind of cold, and we're not used to cold weather at all, but...
this little girl does not like cold weather. Never has, never will.
Mother Nature is just...
brutal.
Yeah, brutal all the way. But anyway, let's get the show on the road.
Absolutely.
Isis King, an artist hailing from Prince George County, Maryland, is a graduate of the Arts Institute of Philadelphia, majoring in fashion design and accepted to the school with full tuition scholarship. Isis served as vice president of the Fashion Club and graduated with an industry award for Best Evening Wear in 2005. After graduation, Ms. King began the process of preparing a move to New York City. It was during this time that MSNBC documentary about transgender individuals in 2007 entitled Born in the Wrong Body, on the Edge, featuring Mrs. King introducing her to the world. Isis King's spotlight was now on.
The life-changing moment came for Isis when the creator, producer, and star of America's Next Top Model, ANTM, Tyra Banks, observed her, ironically enough, at a Cycle 10 ANTM photo shoot. Isis was encouraged to audition for Cycle 11 of ANTM and was selected. For the first time in her life, she boarded an aircraft and traveled to compete amongst other supermodel hopefuls, leaving behind her fears, the homeless shelter where she was a resident, and all apprehensions. She became the first woman of transgender experience to compete on ANTM. As a result, Isis became an icon as the most commented upon contestant in ANTM history.
I knew people would be surprised when we cast Isis as the first ever transgender woman on Top Model, but I had no idea that she would become famous all over the world. And when you take a look at the photos surrounding me, it's just as shocking to realize that Isis once looked like this. Yeah, let's take a look at Isis's journey. She's gone from the background of a picture to to the headlines of magazines and newspapers everywhere. Isis is the most talked about top model of all time. This girl is absolutely amazing. And my staff said, Tyra, there's something a little different about that girl.
I was born physically male, but mentally, everything else, I was born female.
Being the first transgender top model contestant proved difficult at times. But Isis never gave up.
I'm here, I'm myself. This is how I've always been. Transition or not, I'm me.
And her determination has inspired countless others. It's 5 a.m., the morning of the surgery. Isis and her mother are heading to the hospital.
All right, I'm going to get the wheelchair and we're going to go ahead and get your wheel down to anesthesiology. All righty. Ready?
In less than 5 hours, Isis will emerge from her deep sleep to find that her journey is complete.
You ready? No, there's no turning back now. I'm okay. I feel okay. Lord, please help Isis in her journey and what she wants to do. Just help her to be the woman that she wants to be.
It took 4 hours and 15 minutes to change Isis into an anatomical female. Dr. Bowers is there to assure her that everything went just fine.
Do you feel different?
Only pain.
Only pain? Yeah, you'll have some pain. Oh, it's so well, so beautiful.
Oh,
Bella looks pretty. We got lots of depth. Even the pelvis is plenty wide. Just everything was good.
Perfect. It's almost like I was supposed to have it.
Almost like you were supposed to have it. Right? So I would say so.
The healing process
on MySpace.
On MySpace, okay. You met on MySpace, and did you know that she was transgendered when you met her?
I did know. When I met her, she was a male. We were...
So were you dressed as a guy back then?
At the time, yes, I was about to start my transition, but he's a graphic designer, and at the time I was very big on my designs and my fashion design, so we kind of wanted to collaborate on a few things. It was more from like a friend perspective, and then it became like a best friend. He became my male best friend.
She's a female. I would consider this to be a heterosexual relationship. I don't look at her, I never did look at her as a man. You know, when I first met her, she was a man, but when I talked to her, everything was female. Like, she was supposed to be a female. She is a female. I'm straight. She's a woman.
And now, welcome to our show, the amazingly talented and beautiful Isis King. Hey Isis, how are you, honey?
How are you? I was watching a clip and I was like, oh no, not that part. Not that part.
That's a very inspirational clip altogether, and
Yeah,
I really, really admire you. You have really taken control of your life and followed your dreams. And not too many people really are capable of doing that. They dream things, but they just don't do anything to pursue it. And I mean, I've met you in person, and you just have this confidence about you. And I think that you are definitely an inspiration to a lot of transgender individuals.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. I try really hard, and definitely it's one of those things where you just have to know that I want more out of life, and I want more than to be afraid of what other people are going to think and to sit back and allow life pass you by because you're afraid. So
definitely. And fear is very debilitating. Absolutely. So when you eliminate fear or put it in the back burner and just kind of really follow your heart, then your dreams come true. Mm-hmm. And that's something I totally believe in. You know, and
definitely.
Me too, very much so.
And we're just so honored that you're here with us today. And
absolutely.
What we strive for in Transition Radio and Transition Radio TV is to showcase positive individuals in the trans community, because as you know, we have this stereotype that we are sex workers, undesirables, and we want to change that. We want to change the way the world looks at us, and we want to help transgender individuals change the way they feel about themselves. So this is why.
And I have the same point of view when I go and speak and I go and educate people. And by me living my life visibly, I have the same agenda, you know, just to show the normality of women or anyone who transition and them being able to still follow their dreams and not giving into what society say we have to do, we have to look like, we have to, how we have to live our lives. So we're like the same.
Yeah, exactly. And
Absolutely.
I know you're very familiar with Angelica Ross, which we also interviewed on the show. And she's also a very inspirational, very spiritual individual. And I believe as transgender individuals, we were placed here on this earth for a reason. And one of that main reason is to help people love unconditionally, because it's easy to love what's perfect. So we come forth to the world. Our parents have a hard time with who we are. And I believe we're our parents' biggest teacher. And so...
Not so much the other way around.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Isis, looking back, did you ever think you would be where you are today?
Well, I always knew that I was put here for a special reason. I always knew my grandmother always called me her little star, so I always felt that. But I just always thought I would become a famous fashion designer. I didn't know that all of these other things were going to happen along with it, but I just figured that my claim to fame would be my artistic abilities. And now, I don't know if you're familiar, I just presented my first collection during Fashion Week, February 11th. So I'm starting to really push my abilities now, but I didn't know that becoming a transgender icon and, you know, a top model and all of these other things that was never in my imagination, because years ago, I didn't even think I would have the strength to transition, let alone live my life publicly and on TV.
And that's amazing. That must give you a great feeling inside. And I believe we are the creators of our lives. We hold that pen or that pencil to write the life the way we want it. And those individuals that just live their lives hoping and wishing and just kind of shrugging their shoulders and being depressed, they have to realize that they'll never get what they want to get if they do that. So
yeah, you definitely cannot live your life being depressed, and that's for anybody, transgender or not, because I know at moments when I felt like down or depressed and wanted to just be alone, that days go by very quickly. So if you're sitting in a house 3, 4, or 5 days without leaving out, that 5 days is like you're in a whole nother month now, you know, like you have to live your life, and no matter how passable you are, no matter how great of a career you have, no matter if all your family loves you or not, there are always going to be somebody out there or something out there that's not going to agree with what you are, who you love. It's always going to be something. So you can't think that, oh, it could be better and I can be better. You just have to live your life, because, like I said, it's always going to be something that's not going to add up, just because nobody's ever going to be completely happy with who you are. So you have to just live. Don't be afraid to be yourself.
And that's a great message, definitely.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of us, you know, myself included, and I don't know if you feel the same, you know, I had so many excuses why I couldn't transition. And that held me back for a very long time. Of actually moving forward and proceeding with the process of transitioning. And I don't know, have you felt that way as well in the past?
Well, I transitioned when I was 21. I wanted to wait until after college just because I felt like I knew my family would not be supportive or agree with it. So I went away to college, and then I ended up getting in a relationship that was very abusive. And upon escaping the relationship, because I literally escaped it, I went to domestic violence therapy. And in therapy, I basically learned that I was not going to allow anyone or anything hold me back from doing or being who I want ever again. And once that kind of sunk in, I told the therapist, you know what, I'm going to transition. And she kind of like opened up her eyes, like, we're talking about domestic violence and people controlling you. But I realized that was me. I would always give my opinion to somebody else. So once I gained my opinion about myself and who I wanted to be and what I wanted in life, I knew that me being a woman is the foundation of that. So at that moment, I decided that I was going to move to New York and transition. And I just knew that I didn't want anybody holding me back from that. So I knew my family loved me. I knew they would be there, but I knew they would not agree with it. I knew that an abusive ex would not agree with it. I knew that half the people, most of the people in my life would not probably agree or would have an opinion. So I made sure I saved up enough money and moved to a place where I could get all the resources and I can make a sound decision of who I wanted to be in my life. And I can invite them in once I found or grew into that person.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Well, besides the incredibly beautiful and talented model you are, what other passions do you have?
Well, as I just said, I just presented my first presentation for Fashion Week, which the last collection I put together was 7 years ago when I graduated from the Art Institute. So it was a long time in the making. But like I said, I never knew I would go on to be a top model and to have all these other opportunities open to me. So I really wanted to make sure I was ready when I put my collection out there. Other than that, I went to the Philippines a year ago and to work on a movie. It's my first feature-length film called Hello Forever. It's still in post-production. It's an indie film, so everyone had to kind of realize, you know, with certain budgets, things happen at a certain pace, especially when a director knows he has a certain vision. You're going to take your time and make sure it's right. So I'm just looking forward to that film finally coming out and being able to go back to the Philippines, because Asia and the Philippines in general, but Asia is my biggest fan base. And I just can't wait to get back out there and to show my fans, like, all of my hard work and just show all my fans around the world, like, how dedicated I was to my role and to the art of acting, just because I'm an artist. I'm not just a model. I'm not just a fashion designer. I'm an artist, because there are so many different aspects of me with art that I appreciate, that I am so in tune with, that I just want to show the world how much of a passion I have for it.
And it's a beautiful thing, totally. And I believe that there are many transgender individuals that are very talented, and they just need to really tap into it and pursue their dreams. There are many transgender females who can only hope to live their dreams. What advice do you have for those who are starting out in their journey?
I would definitely say, just like the doctor told me at the beginning, and so many people you see, when you're starting a transition, you see people you look up to, or in my case, I didn't have anybody I looked up to except for my mom, but no trans women. So I just looked at women that transitioned before me, and you want it right away. You want it to be so quick. And the first thing the doctor told me is, it's not going to happen overnight. And I think if you get in your mind that it's something that takes time, then you will be okay with everything. That's definitely something. And also, even before I started hormones, I lived full-time for 6 months. I was already 21, like I said. I got a job and I was working at Express as my preferred gender even before hormones. So I think the whole point is going out there and living your life, not allowing your transition to stop you from living your life. Because like I said, no matter how passive you are, people are always going to have something to say. So not allowing the transition to pull you back or to make you afraid. And it is a scary thing, but it's definitely one of the most empowering moments you will ever go through. Just living your life, continuing to live normally, and allowing it to happen on its own.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
Definitely. Just being yourself, being true to yourself, and not worrying what other people have to say or think. And that's how you're really going to be happy, because everybody is always going to criticize people, no matter if you're transgender or not. So just live your truth and be happy, and take your time, because like I said earlier, people just want to go from 0 to 60 in no time. And they say,
and it doesn't work like that. It doesn't matter how good or bad you look. It does not work like that. And people have to realize it's more than just physical, you know?
Yes.
And I think that really also separates people that transition for whatever reasons versus someone that transition because they're born in the wrong body. The mindset is different. Exactly. Because the thing is, And it really hit me once I had my bottom surgery. And I was just like, oh, I'm going to feel so different. And I woke up and I was like, I don't feel any different. And then that's when it made me realize the bottom surgery didn't change me because I'm born in the wrong body. And if anything, it aligned me more. But I thought I was going to feel different when I woke up or when I see myself, and I didn't, because I said, you know what? That separates me from someone who transitioned versus someone who's born in the wrong body, because no matter what it looks like, my mind is already there. My mind is already a woman, and no matter how different my body looks, it's not going to change my mind.
Right.
So.
Exactly. And that's the misconception. You know, a lot of people that are thinking about transitioning or wanting to transition, they can be, like MTFs, they can be very masculine and think that the hormones are going to make them a woman. If it's not in here and it's not in your soul, then that's not how it was meant to be.
Yeah, no matter how many procedures you do or what you take, it's not going to make you. And it's,
surgery doesn't make you a woman. Hormones doesn't make you a woman. You feeling like you are a woman is what makes you a woman. It's not something you don't wake up. And then I think when my mom came around and when people came around and said, okay, you're regular, it's because I'm like, if I came one day, went to transition and came back and I was a different person, to me, that's not normal. That's not real. Me looking different, yes, but my spirit and the way I present myself and the way I talk, it should really be the same, because this is who I am. I'm not putting on a mask. I'm not putting on a front for someone and say that I'm something else. I'm being myself. So once people get past the visual, they'll say, I didn't lose my child. I didn't lose my friend. You're still there. Duh, because this is me.
Exactly.
Right. But you're just happier. And that's
I'm just
the whole
happier,
thing.
and I just look a lot better.
Exactly.
You know, but I'm not going to just disappear and come back and give you a whole different energy and a whole bunch different, like, you know, personality and just aura. No, because that shouldn't really be different, because you should already be that person no matter what you look like.
Exactly. Some people that are very depressed and they feel like, if I get my chest surgery, if I get my bottom surgery, I'm not going to be depressed anymore. It's like, it's going to be like a magic pill. And it's like, if you were depressed before all this, chances are you're still going to have that issue. The surgeries, the hormones.
You know what a lot of people do? That's when a lot of people develop, what is it? Dysmorphic disorder or something like that. Just because, I don't know if I said it right, but the thing is, you're always going to find something wrong. And then you're always going to look at yourself and see that you're not complete. And you can have your top and bottom surgery. You're always going to find something. And that's when a lot of people go overboard and want more and more surgeries and this and that. And it's just like, it's not the surgeries. You need to really look inside of yourself and find out what's wrong or what's not adding up and work on that, because surgery can't fix your brain. Surgery can't make you feel the way you want to feel.
Right. Exactly. And that happens everywhere. If you look at individuals that are overweight and they feel like if they get the gastric bypass surgery, they're going to be healed. It's like shrinking your stomach to a walnut size is not going to heal your problem. The problem lies up here. And it's
that's why a lot of people after surgery gain the weight back, because they have to understand it's more than just something. It's not a magic pill. You're not going to just have the surgery and be skinny forever. No, you still have to work out. You still have to eat right. You still have to eat in portions. And, you know, it's more than just a surgery or something to fix you. A doctor can't fix you.
No.
You have to go in there knowing what they can do, but also it's like it's a life-changing moment when you realize, wow, I have to be the person that make a change. Well, I have to be the person that feels this way in order to have the most amazing outcome, not the doctor.
Exactly. We wanted to share a video clip of America's Next Top Model cycle number 17, the All-Stars.
I'm Isis, I'm 25 and I'm from Prince George's County, Maryland. Since the last time viewers saw me, I think I changed a lot in the sense of me being comfortable with myself, my body, and not allowing that to hold me back. When Tyra asked me to come back to do the All-Star cycle, I was very honored. I thought it would be an amazing experience. And I was told that it was about branding yourself and star quality and potential and just bring all those aspects of it together to make a well-rounded model. I think I'm really fun in reality, and I think when somebody gets really, really upset, like in a house a lot, it makes me laugh. But enjoy. I think that I am a prankster. I love to have fun. I love to run around and be silly, be goofy. I feel like this is a competition, but why not have fun and enjoy it in the meantime? And the first time around, I don't think that people really got to see that. I think that my biggest competition is Allison, Bianca, Bree, and Laura. Those are also the 4 girls who I'm the closest with in the competition. So on my cycle, I think hanging from the hot air balloon was the most crazy shoot I've done. If I wasn't here for the competition right now, I would be doing one of the motivational speaking opportunities that I have. Well, I design high-end women's wear, a lot of dresses. I designed the outfits I had on for the first 2 eliminations. My favorite designer is Donatella Versace. I've loved her since I was a little kid. I love bold, bright colors, as you will see, or you can see from the cycle of Top Model. Anything I design makes me feel the most overall comfortable, sexy, confident, and classy. Modeling is something that I've always done for fun. I've always been somebody who loved to pose. I've always had the personality, so I think the only thing I would do is make sure I'm myself and never allow the cameras to take me out of who I am. And so far, I'm doing a great job with that. I would say anybody who wants to be a model, make sure you're always yourself. The trait I value most in people is honesty, loyalty, and love. My motto is love, not war. To always stay focused on your passion, your goal, and never allow anyone or anything to hold you back. Yeah, definitely I would like the world to see more of the different characters that I'm able to play, and just to see that I'm well-rounded and that I have a lot of potential. Nobody's really that perfect. No one's perfect at all, except for me, of course.
And that's so true. No one is perfect. And I think we in society have been almost like, it's like a neurosis that we have, that we feel that everything has to be just so, and then we forget to live life because we're trying to be this thing that we really aren't, instead of just being ourselves and loving, because love is the key. That's why we're here, to love, and to love unconditionally.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Exactly. So Isis, how was your childhood growing up?
I had a pretty, I would say, decent childhood. I had a single mom who, she had me when she was 17. She was always there for me. She gave me and my brother everything we needed. She worked very hard. And other than that, you know, I did witness her go through 2 abusive marriages a little later, younger and then a little later, but just to see the way she prevailed, and she, no matter what, she provided and just showed a strong woman to me, then to me, I feel like I had a good childhood because she was always there.
And it appears that you got a lot of love. I mean, looking at that initial video with Tyra Banks, your mom was there with you, supporting you. And I think that's very important. If you have that basis of love, that's how you learn how to love yourself and love others.
Yeah, me and my mom are best friends. We love each other. We prank each other. We play wrestle, and like, I love her. She's awesome.
You're very lucky, because unfortunately, some of us, when we transition, we lose our families. I know in the beginning when I did, my mom and I were just hardly talking, and thank God through the years, because I believe eventually they do get it, and eventually they realize that we are the same person, and we just kind of look a little different. But mine came around after the years, and I think that's important, to have that support, to have that love from those that brought us to this world.
Absolutely.
Well, definitely, when I first started to transition, she was sad, but I think that me moving away and doing it was kind of one of those things where I got far enough in it that it's just like, you can't say, oh, take that off, you know, like, oh, I'm taking hormones, or I'm this and that. And I was 21. I just really wanted to make sure I had college out the way, and that I didn't depend on my mother or any family to make any decisions or to financially take care of me. I want to make sure it was all on me, so that way their opinion really didn't matter. you know, as long as they know I was making the right decision for myself, but I wasn't depending on them, or I didn't think about, oh, are they going to kick me out or this and that? Like, I moved away. I moved to New York from Maryland, which is 4 hours. So it's just like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, in my head, I had it like, I love my family, but they might disown me and this and that. This is what happens. So am I ready for that? So I made sure I was completely ready. I rented out a room. I had a job. I had a support system in New York. And I'm just like, you know, we'll see what happens. But as long as they know that I'm so stern with my decision, that it's not like, oh, what do you think? It's, are you going to join this train or not? Because this train is taking off.
Definitely. And I think that's a major problem with a lot of transgender individuals. They're not sure about it themselves. So they're almost like asking permission to the world and those around them. And so that kind of gives people they're not getting that same vibe of positivity. So they're going to be iffy-washy too. So it's good to be, you know, knowing exactly what you're doing and feeling a conviction about it.
And it's also you know, having to show, God, what's that? Blah moment. What's that word? Oh crap. It starts with a C. Convincing. There we go. Yes, people have to be convinced that this is what you're doing, and you know, it can't just be like, you know, as kids and we're growing up and family, they see us go and we start doing this, and then we're like, we don't like that anymore, and then we do this, and then we don't like that anymore. So sometimes I think that their decision is like, are they really going to go do this and go through with it?
Or is it a phase? Oh my God, a phase.
Yes. That's why, like, I used to always wish like I could transition even like younger. I see a lot of stories and I say, oh, I wish I could have transitioned younger. But especially in the African American community, I think it's already taboo for other things. So to be transgender is like a whole nother issue. And then to be a young transgender person, it's just like, I wish I could have did it younger, but I'm also happy that I waited until I can't imagine starting hormones in high school or in college where, you know, your levels start to change. You start to think about all different things. Like, I got to be focused on school. So it's kind of one of those things where you're like, I wish I could have done it younger, but I like the fact that I waited just to focus on everything else and get that stuff out the way. So I did it as a 21-year-old adult, you know, that made the decision and, like I said, moved away and just said, you know what, like it or not, this is what I'm going to do. But it's different from being a child because they're always going to wonder, is this why, are they going to change their mind? You know, they're still young, they're still impressionable. It's nothing to it. I'm an adult, I'm an adult. and
I do it all the time.
This is my final decision. And like I said, it's something, you know, I didn't want to think about my family not being there for me. But in my mind, I said, you know what? I'm not going to give them an option to put me out or to say this and that. Because when I first became very androgynous, I had long hair and everything, and I wanted to wear mascara. You know, my mom was just like, you know, I had a baby brother, and she was just like, you know, I don't really want you wearing mascara around. And I'm just like, okay, a 4-year-old is not going to understand mascara. This is the first sign that I need to do this on my own in a way, because if mascara is a problem, when I start to change clothes and go way further than mascara, it's going to be an issue. So I need to distance myself so I can make a decision based off of the way I feel and not to be influenced by people around me.
Definitely. And, you know, people don't realize that children they don't judge. We teach them that judgment. So
exactly.
It's like, why are we putting this bad programming in their heads?
Absolutely.
You know, it's something that human beings need to really evolve on that issue tremendously. And now I'm having a blonde moment because there was something I was thinking about that I wanted to say. Yeah, see, it rubs off. It does. It really rubs off.
Is that a blonde moment or a bald moment?
A bald moment. Yeah, we're calling it that one.
We'll call it a bald moment for him.
Yeah, definitely. But there was something I was going to say, and it was because as we talk, I think of things that I wanted, but then I got involved with the other. The younger generation that's coming out or taking hormone blockers, and they're not realizing that they're taking away from that experience. Because to me, living my 38 years as Maritza, which was my female self, brought me all the experience that I have today, and it's part of my journey. I can't imagine doing this any younger, although we think it's easier because we don't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. But I think it's part of our journey. And it's a beautiful thing because we are special individuals.
Exactly. And I didn't start my transition until I was 36. So, you know, I have those same.
So it's, to me,
feelings.
It's a journey, it's a path. You know, we are spirits having a human experience. And
but also we're us living our lives is helping the generation so they can have that option.
Yes.
If they want to, you know, because I know when I was 5 or 6, I'm sure that would have not been an option. I mean, I'm sure even still living in the house as an adult, that wouldn't have been an option. So I'm just like, you know what, leave. And it's always a woulda, coulda, you know, I wonder moment. And that's no matter how young. You could be 6 and said, I wonder how I would have started, how it would have been if I would have started at 4. Like, you're always going to wish it was something different. And that's just human nature.
Exactly.
So it's just like, but things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And, you know, we started at the age we're supposed to for a reason. We had experiences to learn before in order to help us be the best person we are today.
I couldn't agree more.
That sounded like I read it off the back of like a like a book or something. That's an Oprah moment, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
right? Well, it sounded really good.
It did. Looking at the initial video where you were going through your surgery, what was that experience like? And although we did see a little clip of that, I put it in the intro, and I know it was painful because you told the doctor, but how painful really was it? Because people go through this and they don't realize what they're going to go through. They're just like, I want to do this, but they don't look at the big picture.
Well, you know, the funny thing is I just hit 4 years on February 27th. So just the other day was my 4 years like of that video. And I'm just like, time really flies. It felt like it was like a year ago. But the surgery, my mom was there the whole time. It was just us, and she really took care. Well, first the doctors, and then you go to the like kind of halfway house. I forgot what they call it, but like the day after house, where after 3 or 4 days we went there and she took care of me. And my whole thing is, I don't really remember how painful it was, but I will tell you it was not as painful as having breast augmentation the next year for the first time. So 3 years ago, I had my breast done, and that was definitely way more painful. Yeah, I had a lot of medicine. So I don't know. I know it was like weird. I just laid down and rested a lot, you know, like my mom would help me, take me to the bathroom. And other than that, you know, it was just sleep a lot. So I don't know. I feel like it could have been a lot worse, you know?
You look like you were in a lot of pain in that video. Like, you didn't know how you could lay or sit. I mean, think about it.
I mean, it looked like it's, I really honestly don't really remember that much of back then.
You probably blocked it.
Yeah. No, I really but I remember, like I said, the year after I had breast augmentation, and that was so much worse. I remember not being able to breathe because like the bandage is holding your chest down. And I had that surgery 2 weeks before I came and did Bellamado. So I remember talking to Janice, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get breast augmentation for the first time right before. And she was like, are you going to be okay? I was like, yeah, I should be. And like, yeah, I was a big baby. My mom had to lift me up every time I wanted to like get up or lay down. She literally had to lift me. But yeah, if I compare it to that, so many more people have breast augmentation, and I say that that's way more painful. And I hear a lot of people say breast augmentation was a lot more painful. So painful, but if anything, I feel like it was more uncomfortable, especially the first couple of times you have to dilate. Like the doctor, literally Dr. Bowers had to come in and like give me this deep talk, like you can't lose this, because I did not want to dilate. I was so terrified because it felt like some weird alien feeling. Like I don't even know how to describe it. Like it was just like, it was so creepy the first couple of times and painful. But yeah, to me, it was more uncomfortable than actual like pain on 10, you know? And it never got that bad. It never got to a 10 for me, you know? And at those moments, I think I was just in and out of it a lot at the like first couple of days, and I was supposed to get out of bed like day 3. I think I waited the next day. Like I was so weak, but if anything, it was just a lot of sleep and not really like oh my God, so much pain. Ah, you know, I was never really like that. Ah.
Since you brought up dilation, how often did you have to do that, and for how long?
It's hard to say because I never really did it the way I was supposed to. I think at the beginning it was like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, I think, 3 times a day for a few months, and then over time it got less and less. But yeah, I didn't never really do it the way I was supposed to, which I would not suggest because I did lose a little teeny bit of depth. So, but overall, like now I don't, you know, I don't do it often, maybe, well, a little often than I used to, but maybe like once every other day or once a week or something like that, you know. But like I said, I'm 4 years into it. But definitely the first, I would say 6 months is very important to do it the way you're supposed to. And my problem was I'm just not good with routine. And that's in general. I just don't like routine. I guess, I don't know, being an artist, maybe that's why. But yeah, it's definitely some kids, make sure you dilate.
Dilate, yeah. And it's got to be painful at first. It's almost like sticking salt in a wound. You know, here's this...
Yeah.
This wound, and you have to keep like probing at it, like open up, open. I can't even imagine.
It was freaky. It was creepy. Not freaky in a fun way, like creepy. It was just like this weird feeling that you've never in all your life felt. You know, it's like, I don't know. I just remember
I could imagine. And then for us, the FTM, to me, the chest surgery was not as painful as the hysterectomy. You know, I mean, it was uncomfortable because, I mean, they remove our stuff and then we're like bandaged up and we're supposed to, you can't even barely breathe. You can't lift your arms up. You can't do a whole bunch of things. But I had my mastectomy, hysterectomy at the same time. And that hysterectomy just like, for 6 months, the pain was just continued to be there. And it's like, am I ever going to stop feeling this?
You guys are killing me.
War stories here.
No, you guys are killing me because I got a consultation next Friday to do a partial lower surgery. So I'm nervous as hell.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm about to lose my marbles.
Well, good luck. I'm sure... You know what? I'm sure it's not. I don't think it really would be that bad. So you mean castration?
Well, no.
Orchiectomy.
Orchiectomy. They're just
castration.
I guess so. Yeah.
From what I hear, I've talked to a few people that has gotten that, and I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. Now, question. Oh, and I know you guys are interviewing me. I don't want to turn it around.
It's okay. You can turn it around. It's okay.
Okay. Yes. So, question. You want to have that done. Do you have any plans on having the genital reassignment surgery?
Not fully, because I'm happy. You know, actually, at first I was dead set on doing it, and then I met Mark, and things kind of happened.
For both of us, because I never used my junk before down there. So I mean, but
okay. I just wanted to make sure you already, just because a lot of people get the surgery. And then they don't realize that sometimes like that skin tends to shrink. So just for the terms of wanting to have the surgery, knowing the time frame, I'm sure everybody's different, but knowing that that skin can be used. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
But if you don't have any plans on it, then it doesn't matter. But I just wanted you to know if you didn't, if the doctor haven't talked to you about it, just to be aware. Just to have that skin, just in case you need it. So you wouldn't need a skin graft or anything extra. But you already know what you're doing, so that's awesome.
The reason she's doing it is so she could lower down her meds, hormones, which
two reasons.
Like get rid of spirolactone, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is a very scary medication, and another reason is so that she doesn't have wardrobe. What is it?
Wardrobe malfunctions. You know, when I'm wearing something tight, you know, it's not the. I'm gonna get graphic.
You could say penis.
It's not the penis that causes the problem. It's the testicles that cause the problem.
The marbles.
Yes.
You know, another thing, like. A lot of girls thought that when I had my surgery, I would be one of those people, you know, and the thing is, like I said, because I realized after having the surgery that it didn't change me, it really put me in a mindset that maybe a lot of people don't have in terms of you having a bottom surgery doesn't make you the woman you are. So I don't sit around with my nose up thinking I'm better than somebody because I decided to have it and they didn't. So I always, when I educate people about it, I always make sure I say that, because a lot of people say, you know, I want to have the full surgery and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, if you do want that, just know that this is something you really want, because don't want it just because you think that's going to make you a woman. Because I know I've met a couple girls that had the surgery that wish they didn't have it. I know a couple girls that took hormones and gotten foreign silicone put in their body and wish they didn't. So it's just a matter of taking the time and knowing, really soul searching with yourself and figuring out if you want to transition, and if so, how far do you want to go? And it's one of those things where this isn't a race. This isn't, oh, you have a year, 2 years, 3 years. You take as long as you want and figure out when you're finished your transition, because only you can tell yourself when you're finished.
Absolutely. And, you know, basically with me, I feel I'm complete, you know, where I'm at. And, you know, that's all I need. So I know I'm happy now. I know that no matter what I do as far as surgeries or anything in the past, it's not going to make me happier, because I'm already happy. I'm still going to remain happy after that happens.
Isn't that an awesome feeling to feel complete?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Like I said, people don't realize that feeling complete doesn't mean having all of the surgeries. It's as far as, when do you think you're finished? Because when that moment hits and you know that there is actually a finish line, because a lot of people get there and they still like, what else? And that's when that goes back to the morphic disorder.
Dysmorphic disorder, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that goes right back to that. Like, when are you finished? There have to be, you should have some realistic goals of completion, just because you don't want to get caught out floating in space, still like trying to find a finishing point, in your mind there isn't one.
Yeah, and then when you get there, you're still not happy and you still want more and more, which is crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, many trans individuals fear being alone. Did you have those fears, and are you in a happy relationship now?
I did have those fears of being alone, and I think that outside of a relationship, that's definitely something that you have to soul search within yourself and to feel complete on your own. I don't think I finally learned. It took me a long time, and I looked for it in relationships and from other people as far as feeling complete. And I realized that that's something you have to finish and feel on your own, because nobody can ever complete you. And I've also learned, dealing with some not so good guys, that when you're out there looking for completion, especially being a trans person, but even if you're not, then a lot of bad people will prey on that. And that led me into really bad relationships. So with that being said, I am dating somebody, and yeah, it's really awesome. But when you showed that clip about the engagement, like the ex, who was actually my best friend, and we kind of just thought we were supposed to be engaged, and he proposed to me, and I was just like, oh my God, you know, like, we worked in our friendship, we are best friends. That was not the route for us being together. And luckily we were able to keep our friendship, because our relationship was never sexual based. It was just on, oh, you're my best friend. You're my best friend. I love you. I love you. Oh my God, we both want to be married. Let's get married. You know? So I think because we never took it in a infatuation part, we were able to keep that, our friendship.
And that's a good thing. I think relationships change sometimes. Just because you break up with a person doesn't mean you're going to hate him and never, you know, be friends with them again. So that's very mature, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, Absolutely. It was really hard, just because like I said, it was 4 years ago, and once in a while people still ask me like, oh, how's your marriage? Or are you still engaged? I'm just like, oh my God, that was 4 years ago. I just want to let it go.
So I boo-boo and added it to the
It's thing. Like, no, I don't want to be there again. You know, especially it's kind of awkward, because like I said, we are best friends, and it's just like, oh my God, that's my best friend. No.
And I
so like I said, I am really happy that our relationship, when the short few months that it wasn't based on sexual and infatuation, which is based on a pure love of friendship. So I think that's the reason why it wasn't complicated. And after we lived our lives on our own, we were able to mend our friendship. Because at first I was so upset, not because he broke it off, but because I just felt embarrassed, you know, like, oh my God, now the whole world's seeing me get engaged and I'm not engaged. So once I got over that and I was like, I know he didn't do it to be malicious or, you know, just for fame or whatever the case may be. I knew that he, just like me, just both got caught up with, oh my God, somebody here that loves me unconditionally. Why aren't we together? So,
at least you're happy and you're with someone else,
Absolutely.
which I guess you don't want to share who that someone else is, and that's okay if you don't want to.
I'll just say that I'm definitely very happy in my current situation.
That's
Very
a beautiful
awesome.
thing. So what has been your most memorable moment in all of this, in your journey, in the Isis King life?
I would say that my most recent best moment would definitely have to be walking out at the end of my fashion show I just premiered during Fashion Week, because I brought it completely back around full circle, and all of these people are here to see me and my collection. They're here to see Isis King's collection. All of the press, all the top model supporters. Back in high school, before I transitioned, or even college, I would have never thought, oh yeah, you are, you know, my grandma always told me I was going to be a famous fashion designer, but I would have never thought you would go and become America's Next Top Model. You would have half the girls in your runway show would be top model, some of your top model sisters. You have all this press and media all here to see my collection, Isis King. Outside of everything else, they're here to support me. And I'm just like, wow, this moment is so huge right now. My mom was there. My sister was there. So many of my friends was there. Like, my mom drove up from Maryland just for my show and went back home. So,
Right.
yeah, it's awesome. Definitely an amazing, like, big moment for me, because it's me bringing everything together. And that's what I had in my head anyway, what I wanted to do.
So you accomplished
That's why I waited for my collection, just because I wanted to focus. I wanted everything to marinate and to settle in, and I wanted to bring it full circle. And I knew that if I had support from my top model sisters or top model, anybody, that it would make it so much more awesome and so much bigger than just Isis King, a girl from Maryland. I'm not Isis King, a girl from Maryland. I'm Isis King, the superstar from Maryland. It's awesome.
Speaking of that, we wanted to share this incredibly hot video you were in.
Oh,
So
the
let's
music
roll it,
video?
Joe.
Music video, yes.
Oh, just so you know, I don't know if you guys know, but I created all three of the outfits in the video that I had on.
Okay, we're going to watch for that. You know I'm going to watch for that.
So will I.
I'll be with someone there. I'll be with someone there. I'll be with someone there. I'll be with someone else. It's like I'm living on Pluto. You never come and visit me. Call me up and say, baby, you're the one that I'm missing. Yeah, babe, I believe you, but I can't take you seriously. When you're away doing business, I'll be with someone else. I better know how to please. Love without limitations. It's vibrating. So in love with the machine. Better know how to please. Better than you, baby. It's vibrating. It's vibrating. And you keep coming home late. Can't get it done 'cause I'm asleep. I feel your lips and I roll over. No, don't be bothering me. If you were Mars, I'd play Venus. Much space in between. machine. I'll be with someone else. 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 A machine. I better know how to please. Love without limitations. It's vibrating. So in love with the machine. I better know how to please. Better than you, baby. It's vibrating. This machine.
Very, very hot video.
Yeah, it
and
was.
your creations are.
It's always funny watching me act sexy because I'm just so goofy. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll act sexy. And then I'm watching myself laughing like, I'm so goofy.
Well,
you
let
are
me tell
sexy.
you. Let me tell you, that first dress you were wearing was absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
That was my
you.
favorite out of all three. I liked them all, but the first one I was in love with.
Thank you.
Yes. And you are sexy. Very sexy indeed.
Oh, thank you.
So where do you see yourself in the future? And I know you've accomplished so many things. Or is there anything else that you haven't accomplished that you would like to in the future?
I would like to see what happens with the film. I would love to do more films and to just show my range with that. The film I did, Hello Forever in the Philippines, is a drama, and I definitely show really far into my abilities. But I would love to do more acting. I just signed with an agency called JB Models. And also, I would love to do more modeling, of course. I would love to do more TV.
Yes.
And, of course, I will continue to do collections and see what happens with that. Because I would love to see my clothes in stores everywhere. And I think everyone should be wearing Isis King.
That's right. Definitely. Well, Isis, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to have us on our show. I told you the hour would go so quickly.
It was a lot of fun. Yay.
Way too fast.
Yes. Yes, it's a lot of fun. And again, thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And thank you to the viewers for
Yes,
tuning
thank you so
in.
much, Isis.
Thank you, viewers, and make sure you guys can go to my website to get all the links to my Facebook, Twitter, and that's www.kingisis.com.
Yeah, and it's down there in the lower thirds, and everyone can see that. And the show will be on demand tomorrow, and I will send you the link so you could watch it.
Okay, cool.
And, so thank you so much again.
Absolutely.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching yet again another. I know Sundays are sometimes a little bit complicated, but we appreciate you watching. And those that didn't watch live, please remember to check it on demand.
On demand.
Well, we're going to end the show with one of my originals called Game Is Over. But guys, before we end, we want to tell you we love you.
But remember to always love yourselves too. You forgot to say remember.
Remember, okay, love yourselves too.
Do we need to do it again?
No.
Okay.
They know what we mean. Little kiss.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Isis.
The horizon, I see the smoke, the shades of color, it all. We walk like zombies through the fire in disbelief of what just happened. Everyone's scurrying through the jungle. Don't rock a soul left unturned. Here we go again, the planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. Here we go again, the planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. They come with uniform, they come with force to instill the new world order.
This is beyond any story. Here we go again. The planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. Here we go again. The planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. I see a light now from far, far away. Mothership has landed. We will meet our maker. We will learn the truth. Today's a day like no other. Here we go again. The planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. Here we go again. The planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over. Game is over. Here we go again. The planets are shifting. The earth has seen better days. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Game is over.